Okay, so now we already talked about the vertex. We already talked about the axis symmetry. We didn't really talk about the y-intercept. So the first thing I want you to do is at the top. All right, what I want you to take a look at is, or I want you to write down y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. All right. Then I want you to make yourself a note, which I already told you yesterday, the axis of symmetry. All right, the axis of symmetry is always x equals negative b over 2a. That is always the axis of symmetry. All right, to find the vertex, all right. Now I'm going to write it. It might look a little weird, but it should make sense to you. The vertex is always the x coordinate of the axis symmetry, comma. To find the vertex, you just plug that point in. So to plug that point in, we say it's f of negative b over 2a. All right. So that's how you find the vertex. You take your answer that you got from the axis symmetry, plug it into the equation, and that will tell you the vertex. All right. The next part is the y-intercept. All right. The y-intercept is always 0, comma, c. The y-intercept is always 0, comma, c. All right. Then, all right, I need you to learn to use the axis of symmetry to find a third point. All right, to find a third point. All right, that's basically the steps to graph. So this would be step number 1. This would be step number 2. This would be step number 3. This would be step number 4. And then kind of step number 5 is just plot points and graph. And it seems a little lengthy, but I promise you it's super duper easy. All right, super duper easy. Okay, now the first two are going to cause a little bit of problems. All right, because there is no B term. All right, so please follow along carefully. All right. What? Yes. Plot the points and graph. Plot the points and graph. All right, now again, I promise you, it's just follow these 5 things and you get the hang of it. All right, so step number 1. All right, over here, we're looking for the axis of symmetry. So everybody writes down x equals negative b over 2a. What did I tell you b was here? What's b? B is the number in front of the x. Is there an x? Therefore, b is 0. B is 0. All right. So I want negative 0 over 2 times 1. And what's 0 divided by anything? 0. All right. So your axis of symmetry is just x equals 0. Now, once you find the axis of symmetry, step number 2 is to find the vertex. What do I do with that 0 value? Plug it into the equation. All right. So come down here now and write y equals 0 squared minus 5. And what's 0 squared minus 5? Negative 5. Thank you. So the vertex is 0, comma, negative 5. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, how does is that for the when you go up to the vertex, there's a bit negative b over 2a, and
yeah, all I did was I plugged 0, this value, in here. That's all I did.
So where did you get that?
Where did I get the negative b over 2a?
No, how did you know minus 5.
All right, let me make myself clear.
Would you take it from the y equals up there?
Yeah, it's from this equation, right? From this equation. Once you find the negative b over 2a, you just plug that answer into the original equation, and it tells you what the y coordinate of the vertex is. All right. Now, number 3 is we have to find the y-intercept. Who was listening? 0, comma, c. So what is the y-intercept? Right. Say it again. 0, comma, -5, because the y-intercept is a point. All right. Now put a little star right here and say we have a slight problem. And the problem is that our y-intercept and our vertex are what? Are the same. All right. So it's going to be hard to graph. All right. If the vertex and the y-intercept are the same. Yes, ma'am.
How do you know it's C?
You have to understand this.
Oh.
Right. C is what? C is the number, or is just the constant in the problem. Okay. So now that we did that, all right. Now, the reason why I'm saying we have a problem is because I don't have 3 points. I only have what? I only have 1 point, because 0, -5 is the same thing. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is everybody graph 0, -5. Normally it's not the same thing, but in this case, it is the same thing. All right. So please pay attention. I need to find a second point. So in order to find a second point, you have to pick another x value that isn't the vertex. And what's the easiest number to pick? 1. Exactly. All right. You just put in 1. So what I want you to do is you select any point, all right, that is not the vertex. All right. So someone said to me, x equals 1. So if x equals 1, I need to figure out what y equals. And to figure out what y equals, I just do what to 1? Plug it in. So y equals parentheses 1 squared minus 5. And what's 1 squared minus 5? -4. So the point 1, comma, -4 is on the graph. All right. So now everybody plot 1, -4. All right. Does everybody see that? Now, you guys, sometimes it's hard to draw the axis of symmetry. So I used to teach my kids to draw the axis of symmetry with a slant line, right? Because it's kind of hard to see the dotted line over the black line, correct? Does everybody see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Right, but it's easy for me because I'm using an iPad. So it's easy for me to just highlight x equals 1 and draw that. Or not x equals 1, but y equals 1. All right, so make sure you draw the axis of symmetry. All right. And when I draw my axis of symmetry, you're going to use that axis of symmetry to find the third point. All right. So here we go. This point right here is how far away from the axis of symmetry? 1 unit. So that means there has to be another point on the other side 1 unit away. So this point is right here. And that's all there is. Now, generally, it's better to pick more points, but we know the parabolas all look the same. And the parabola is going to look like this. So all you have to do is make that little parabola right there. And now, once you draw it, everybody go to your calculator and just type in under y equals x squared minus 5 and take a look at it. and see if that looks like it's the same thing. Everybody's good with that, right?
Yeah.
Very easy, very easy. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and do number two. Number two is just like number one, and then three is different. All right, three is different. All right, so we're gonna try number two again. All right, so step number one, axis of symmetry. X equals negative b over 2a. 0 over negative 4 equals what?
0.
0. There you have it. Now your vertex. Y equals negative 2 parentheses 0 squared plus 8 equals what? What does that equal?
8.
8. Bless you. 8. The reason why it equals 8 is because 0 squared is 0 times negative 2 is 0. 0 plus 8 is 8. So your vertex is a point, 0, 8. Now you're going for your axis of symmetry, or not your axis of symmetry, but your Y-intercept. So your Y-intercept is 0, c. And what's c in this case? So it's 0, 8. So does everybody see we have a little bit of problem, right?
Same thing.
Yeah, because it's the same, right? So now all you do when the vertex and the Y-intercept are the same, just say x equals 1. Now be real careful. All right, y equals negative 2 times 1 squared plus 8. What does that equal?
12.
Now, most people say
No.
12, right? Because they square or they multiply and then square, but you have to do what first? Square first. What's 1 squared
1.
times negative 2 plus 8? Right. So the coordinate of the other point that you want to graph is 1, 6. All right, so now everybody take out your, well, let's go ahead and graph your axis of symmetry. Then you're graphing the vertex, which is 0, 8. And then 1 point is 1, 6. Now, how far away are you from the axis of symmetry? So then you have to push it 1 over. All right. So now everybody should be able to look at this. And that should be what your parabola looks like, or your quadratic.
Can you do the like line thing? Or
Parabola.
the line, does it just go like straight down or does it do it out?
Well, it never goes straight down. It's always shifting a little bit further out this way. Okay.
But does it
Right.
matter in-
No. Because now what I obviously on your test, everybody's going to make 100 because you can check everything where?
Calculator.
On your calculator. That's why I'm letting you use your calculator so you can get 100. But you still have to do all of this work right here, guys. All of this must be written down in order to get 100. All right, so now type it in on your calculator, negative 2x squared plus 8, and see if it's exactly the same. Should be exactly the same. All right. Anybody have any issues? All right, now we're getting into not deeper waters, but it's different because there's going to be a B term now. All right, because there's a B term. All right, so let's take a look at question number 3. All right, y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 3. So step number 1, let's find the axis symmetry. So I have x equals what? Come on. X equals
-4.
negative 4 over y3.
It would be -4 over -4.
Right, so just, and again, I'm totally fine with what you're saying, but everybody make sure you know the formula. And I'm trying to make sure you understand it's just a what? It's just a formula. So it's just negative b over 2a. So it'd be -4 over 2 times -2, which if we simplify that, it's just what? 1. You should see it's just 1. And if you don't trust yourself on that, type it on your calculator. I don't care. All right. So now let's just come over to the graph and graph x equals 1. Everybody should know x equals 1 is a vertical line passing through the x coordinate at 1. You good? All right, guys. Remember, I can't help if you don't say anything. Everybody's good with x equals 1. All right. So now to find the vertex, you plug 1 in. So I want everybody to write y equals -2, open parentheses, 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 3. So y equals. Who did the mental math on that? Y equals what? 5. That's what I got. Y equals 5. So now everybody's going to tell me the vertex is at what? 1 comma what? Everybody's good with 1 comma 5. All right, so now everybody go to the graph and plot 1, and then go up to 5 and plot a point. Okay, step 3. What is the y-intercept? Zero comma c. What is c in this case? 3. So everybody graph 0 comma 3. How far away are you from the axis of symmetry? 1 unit away. So all you do is put another dot right there. And now you know the graph is opening what? Down. Now, how do we know it was opening down? Because we knew it was a negative out in front. All right, now do me a favor, I'll answer your questions. Go to y equals, type in -2x squared plus 4x plus 3, and see if you're good with that. And if someone's not understanding where I'm getting the third point, you can tell me too. Anybody have any issues on number 3? Yes, good for you.
I don't have like any issues. I'm just confused on like when you're like trying to find the vertex of like
The graph.
like that like equation.
So all you're doing is taking this answer right here and plugging it in for x.
So you just have to like read it.
Yeah. All I'm doing is plugging 1 in for x and solving that equation now.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I'm doing.
Minimum and max.
Yeah, well, you can definitely put this, everybody should be able to look at that and say, this is a what? This is a maximum. All right, and over here, this is a what? Maximum. Over here, this is a what? Minimum. Part of the reason why I don't tell you that is because if you don't know that, if you can't look at a graph and say, is the vertex a max or minimum, I don't think there's much hope that you're going to pass the test. All right. The maximum and minimum, the highest point and the lowest point on the graph. All right, so it's not really that big of a deal. All right, so now everybody take a look at number 4. All right, I'll do this one with you and then you can do the rest on your own. All right, you can double check and verify everything with your calculator. So we're doing step number 1. So x equals what? 6 over what? 2. The reason why it's 6 because it's -b, right?
Oh.
So b value is -6.
We're deep in 2.
2a.
Um,
Right. So again, let me write this out again because that might be my mistake. -b over 2a. And you just have to continue writing the formulas out enough until it just sinks in.
I thought it would be
All right.
A would equal 0 because it's not in front.
What number's in front? Right? If it was 0, that means there's no x squared term. So now it's, there we have it. The x coordinate of the vertex is what? 3. All right, your axis symmetry, x equals 3. So everybody's going to 3, drawing that line in here. And now everybody should write down to find the vertex. Y equals 3 squared minus 6 times 3 minus 1. What is that? -10 is correct. So my vertex is at 3, -10. So I go down and plot 3, -10. What, Jolie?
I'm confused on the vertex formula. How do you write it out? I don't understand.
The x coordinate is always this value here from number 1.
She's confusing the formula.
Yeah.
So this equation right here, you plug 3 in for x. X equals 3. So plug 3 in there and 3 in there. And that's what I'm doing. So look right here, y equals x squared minus 6x minus 1. All the x values are just 3. All right, so now we have 3, -10. All right, so now somebody tell me what the y-intercept is. Right. 0, -1. So now everybody's graphing 0, -1. All right, just to make sure you guys are hearing me, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. C is referred to as the constant. Who asked me about that? Is everybody good on that now? Everybody's good? All right. So now 0, -1. So I'm plotting 0, -1. How far away am I? I'm 3 units away. So now I have to put a point what? 3 units away. So right here. Now that I have 3 points, it's okay to graph. And then everybody do me a favor and type in y equals x squared minus 6x minus 1. Everybody's good with that? Anybody have any issues? All right, now I want to show you one more thing so you can for sure make 100. All right, the calculator has the ability to find the vertex. All right, the calculator has the ability to find the vertex. I'm going to show you where that is. All right, everybody with me?
Wait, what do you check your answer?
Graph it and look at it and see if it's the same thing.
No, like, what do you zoom
You
stand?
type in x squared minus 6x minus 1 under y equals, and then hit graph. And you should be able to see it. If not, he's right. You hit zoom standard. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to find your calculator. We're going to find this point right here. All right. So first of all, is that a maximum or minimum? Minimum. All right. So here's what I need everybody to do. I need everybody to hit the second button. And then there's a calculate button on the top. So everybody see, I think it's under
It's where it says trace.
trace. Yeah. Second trace, there's a calculate button. All right. Hit that. Now, does everybody see where it says minimum?
Yeah.
So we're gonna find the minimum, so hit that number. Now, a cursor comes up. This is what I mean. This cursor comes up on your screen. Look right here, what I'm showing you. Right? And this cursor is somewhere, I don't know where. But if you notice on your screen, it says left, correct? Is everybody with me? So you have to put this cursor to the left of this minimum, anywhere to the left. Put your cursor over here to the left of the vertex and hit enter. Then it should say right. It should say right bound or something, right?
Yeah.
So now you're going to move your cursor to the right of the vertex. And then when it's to the right, you hit enter. Doesn't matter how far to the right you are. Then guess comes up on the screen. We don't care about guessing, just hit enter. And then boom, it automatically takes you down to the lowest point of the graph. Now, sometimes it comes out to be like, for example, 2.999999, right? But that's just a flaw in the program. That's a flaw in the program. It should automatically round it to what? 3. And then you should see it's 3 comma what? 3 comma -10. So I try to tell kids all the time, this is super duper helpful on your SATs, your ACTs, your standardized tests when they let you use a calculator. The more you know about the calculator, the better your scores can be. All right. So again, double check yourself. If you want to find the maximum, instead of hitting minimum, you do what? Maximum. Then you shift it left of the max and to the right, the max, then it comes up guess, hit enter, and we don't care about that. All right, what?
Does it matter where on the left?
No, all you have to do is be to the left of the vertex. If you're not to the left of the vertex, it'll be an error or it'll calculate not the vertex.
This is how my calculator messed up.
So all you have to do is zoom standard.
No, but like whenever if I hit table, it just does the error. If I hit trace, it just does the error.
All right, come here, let me fix it real quick. All right. Everyone else now, listen, I really appreciate y'all's patience today and just try 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, does everybody understand? You have a calculator. Do the work, then look on your calculator. If it doesn't match up, you made a mistake. I personally like to just graph it first and then check my results with my work to make sure that each part is correct. Is everybody understanding me? Okay, I got you, bud. Don't worry. Now hit go to. And there's this down here. See what I mean?
Mhm.
It takes you to the mistake. It's trying to,
Oh,
you see what I mean? That's what go to means. So you just clear all that out.
okay.
Now you're good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, great job for today.
Calculator.
Okay.